Here's Craig Button. Let's talk about this men's Olympic hockey team that's 3-0 at the Olympics, and yet, Craig, we will find ways to dissect this team and figure out how they could be better. Okay, we will. And Nathan MacKinnon is on a lot of people's minds right now. He just doesn't quite look like himself in this tournament. Is there a change to the lines that you might consider if you wanted to spark Nathan MacKinnon?
Well, let me talk about Nathan first a little bit. Nathan is wired. He's like a wild horse, Jay. You know, sometimes you just got to get the reins a little bit tighter on him because Nathan wants to get out on the ice and he's so committed to winning. He's so fiery and he wants to do everything he can to help this team in some way, shape, or form. I think John Cooper understands that. So when we talk about adjustments, where you could put him to get that, I think we've already seen when he goes up and plays with McDavid and Celebrini, he can just be himself. He can just go and play. He knows he's got those two guys, and he doesn't have to think that it's all about him. So now we think about if he's not on that top line, where does he go and who plays with him in the middle of the ice? So I have no problem with Brandon Hagel on his left flank there. But if I'm going to have him play in the middle of the ice on the second line, I'm putting Sam Reinhart up there on his right wing. Sam Reinhart is so smart. He's so measured. He understands the nuances of the games, the subtleties of the game. He can see that Nathan MacKinnon might be revved up and going fast. Well, Sam Reinhart reads off of that and he gets to the right spots. And I think that when you look at a Nick Suzuki, who's such a smart player, it's not close. Sam Reinhart's a way better right winger than Nick Suzuki. So put the best right winger on the right side of Nathan MacKinnon, and I think that that type of player with those types of smarts can really get Nathan utilizing that fire, that energy that he plays with, because right now, you know, you got Nick Suzuki, who's really good, trying to make sure that he gets into the right positions. Sam Reinhart will make sure he gets in the right positions for Nathan MacKinnon, because he's a natural right winger. Suzuki isn't. That's what I would do.
Okay, and then we know that Canada's head coach Sean Cooper said on Sunday, Craig, that Brad Marchand will return to the Canadian lineup Wednesday for the quarterfinal matchup after sitting out the last couple of games. So that leads to my next question. Who would you remove from this lineup, Craig, to get Marchand in?
Real simple, it's Seth Jarvis. I mean, Seth Jarvis in his 2 games hasn't done anything, in my view, to displace any other player on this team. He doesn't bring elements that Sam Bennett brings. He doesn't bring elements that are important deeper down your lineup. And, you know, you can talk about his skating and his speed. They don't need his skating and his speed. They need the elements that Sam Bennett brings to the game, that Bo Horvat brings to the game. And, you know, Brad Marchand is a gamer. Brad Marchand is a big-time player. He understands the demands. He understands what is going to be asked of him, and he'll settle into doing that. So it's real easy for me. Seth Jarvis, who was the 14th forward coming into this tournament, he moves out of the lineup.
But, Craig, what about all his buddies from Winnipeg? They flew over there and everything. They're going to be so disappointed.
Listen, that's just too bad. If John Cooper, I know John Cooper, he's there to win a tournament. He's not there to please anybody's friends that are coming over to watch the tournament.
Okay, I like that, Craig. I like that tough call from you. We know John Cooper has also said Josh Morrissey. He's not been ruled out for the Olympics. But as these games begin to get tougher, how much of an issue is this going to be for Canada's defense if Morrissey can't be effective in this lineup or even return at all?
Good news, Thomas Harley has stepped in and been a really good player. You know, he hasn't had a great year in Dallas, but Thomas Harley has stepped in and been a really good player. So, you know, you got Makar, you know, you got Taze, and now you have Thomas Harley, who's played really well. And there's no issues there. Listen, I'm getting Shea Theodore, who I think is a real valuable player for Team Canada. He can play the offside left shot on the right side. He can play defensively. He can play offensively. He can play on the power play. And I think that if you start to look at where your lineup now becomes a bench a little bit shorter, Shea Theodore has to be a part of more minutes. And if Morrissey's not going to be there, Shea Theodore has to have a little bit bigger bite. It's not like he hasn't. It's not that he hasn't played enough minutes, but as you get into the harder games and you're going to shorten your bench, you need somebody that can carry more minutes. And Shea Theodore, in my view, can do it. Thomas Harley has been really good. You know, Doughty and Parayko settle in, do what they do, take the demands off them, pushing them deeper down in the group. That's how I would do it. But I would make darn sure that I have Shea Theodore playing more minutes when you have to shorten your defense group's time on ice.
Craig, awesome job as usual. And when Craig joins us on tomorrow's show, we'll know exactly who Canada will face in Wednesday's quarterfinal, and we'll be able to preview that.